My wife said, give my parents a new house or I'm taking the kids and half of everything. I said, okay. Then I sold the company to my brother for $1 and moved all assets to a trust. My wife Angela and I had been married for 11 years. I started a logistics company out of a rented warehouse when I was 24. By 35, it was doing $4.6 million a year. I didn't come from money. I grew up sharing a room with two brothers in a house where the heat went out every winter. Everything I had, I built by working 14-hour days for a decade. Angela didn't work. She stayed home with our two boys, which I supported fully. But her parents were a different situation. Her father Frank retired early because he didn't feel like working anymore. Her mother spent money like they had it. They burned through their savings in 3 years and then started looking at me. It started small. Frank needed help with a car payment. Then it was their electric bill. Then their property taxes. In 5 years, I gave them over $90,000. Not loans, gifts. Because Angela told me that's what family does. Then one Sunday, Angela sat me down at the dining table with a printed list. Her parents wanted a house. Not help with rent. A house. She'd already been looking. 3 bedrooms, nice neighborhood, listed at $385,000. I told her no. We had savings, but that was for our boys' education and the business. I wasn't buying her parents a house because they refused to manage their own money. Angela went cold. You make enough. You're being selfish. I'm not buying your parents a house. They're not my financial responsibility. That's when she said it. Then I'll take the kids and half of everything. You'll lose the company, the house, this life. My lawyer will make sure of it. She wasn't bluffing. She'd already talked to a divorce attorney. I found the consultation receipt in her purse 2 days later. So I said okay. She smiled, thinking she'd won. But I wasn't saying okay to the house. I was saying okay to the war. The next morning I called my brother Ray. Ray had worked with me in the early years before going into construction. He understood business. He understood loyalty. I told him everything. Then I offered to sell him the company for $1. He thought I was joking. I wasn't. My lawyer drew up a legitimate sale agreement. The company, valued at roughly $3.2 million in assets and contracts, transferred to Ray for $1. It was legal. I wasn't hiding assets. I was selling my business to my brother at a price we both agreed on. The fact that Angela's divorce lawyer would have nothing to claim against was a side effect. Next, I moved our liquid savings into an irrevocable trust for my sons. $410,000, managed by an independent trustee, accessible only for education, medical needs, and living expenses for the boys. Angela couldn't touch it. I couldn't touch it either. That was the point. I also transferred ownership of our house to a family LLC that Ray managed. The mortgage stayed in my name, but the asset was no longer mine to split. I did all of this in 9 days. Angela didn't notice because she was busy touring houses for her parents with a realtor. On day 10, she came home with a listing printout and a deposit request. I told her I wasn't buying the house. Her face went red. We talked about this. You agreed. I agreed that you could leave. So leave. I sold the company. The savings are in a trust for the boys. The house belongs to an LLC. There's nothing left to take. She stared at me for a long time. Then she called her lawyer. Her lawyer called my lawyer. My lawyer sent over the paperwork. Everything was clean. The sale to Ray had been conducted at arm's length with proper documentation. The trust was irrevocable and created solely for the benefit of our minor children. The LLC was formed before any divorce filing. Angela's attorney told her she could challenge it, but the likelihood of success was low and the legal fees would be enormous. Angela moved in with her parents 3 weeks later. She took the boys, which I expected. I filed for joint custody immediately. The divorce took 7 months. The judge reviewed everything. He didn't love the timing of my moves, but nothing was fraudulent. The company sale was legitimate. The trust was for the children. The LLC had proper structure. Angela got minimal spousal support and no stake in the business. She got the minivan and some furniture. Frank called me once during the proceedings. He said I was a disgrace and that no real man would let his wife's family struggle like this. I told him his family's finances were never my job and hung up. She gambled everything on one threat. The table was empty when she sat back down.